Good evening, friends. I'm Pooja Gandhi from Kirin Advisors. Welcome to the virtual IPO roadshow of Digikore Studios Limited. Incorporated in 2000, Digikore Studios Limited is a renowned VFX studio from India with 21 years in the media industry, including 13 years in film industry. Joining us today is Mr. Abhishek Moore, Managing Director. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Pooja.
Mr.
Hello,
Srinivas,
everyone.
Hello
Mr.
everyone.
Srinivas,
Hello.
uh, Chief Financial Officer. Welcome, sir.
Hi
Mr.
Pooja, thank
Pram-
you. Yeah.
Mr. Pramod Jain, Corporate Financial Advisor. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you.
Miss Henny, Company Secretary. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, Pooja. Thank you.
From Merchant Banker, we have Mr. Tahir Engineer, Compliance Officer, Sathi Capital Advisors Private
Hi,
Limited.
Puja.
Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Now, I would like to request Mr. Abhishek Moore to give brief about the company. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pooja, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join this meet. Really appreciate the same. I, on behalf of Digikore Studios, warmly welcome you to this presentation on Digikore Studios. Digikore Studios, as Pooja mentioned, we started off in the year 2000. It's been a long journey of 23 years where we are trying to build something amazing. We've had ups and downs, great days, sunny days, rainy days, literally everything. It's been a fabulous roller coaster ride, as I may say. Lots to learn, some good decisions, some bad decisions, but that's a part and parcel of life. With every bad decision, we get to learn, we get to better ourselves and better the company as a whole. I'll quickly take you to the history of Digico Studios. In 2000, the company was formed in 2000. Started off as a animation services company, 2D animation. As you know, you've seen cartoons like Tom and Jerry, which is what we call 2D cell animation. Fresh out of college, new kid, trying to create a mark, trying to prove my point that yes, I can create an awesome company. Well, after 2005, 2006, I realized that everything that I thought was rubbish, it was a struggle, wasn't easy to start a company. By 2007, literally band baj gayi thi. Had a choice in 2007 to either give up and do whatever my dad told me, join the family business maybe. But I think so. The one of the traits that I believe, which I have, and what every founder and CEO should have, is that of persistence. I chose to persist. I chose to fight it out. I chose to, not give up. Scaled down the team to just 5 people by 2008, and started looking for new avenues on how to grow the company. 2009, 2010, we were doing research on the visual effects industry. Realized that this industry is a sunrise industry. It was a sunrise industry at that time with tremendous potential. We foresaw a lot of growth in the entertainment industry. And while at that time you could say entertainment industry was a luxury, but today it is a necessity. Any industry that's a necessity is always going to grow. And we chose to look at visual effects as our, opportunity. Things came on, things moved on, and we were very lucky to get our first project, which is Titanic 3D from director James Cameron. I started writing emails to James that, hey, James, we're a new company. Please help us. Please help us. I must have emailed him several times over weeks. And so Parishan, okay, he gave us some work on Titanic 3D. But that was the beginning of an amazing journey. Opened up doors to lots more projects in the US, in Hollywood. We were among the first few Indian companies venturing into Hollywood visual effects. Gained tremendous recognition over the years, and then came the mistake. In 2013, we decided to get into Bollywood, which I guess definitely a big mistake at that time. The Bollywood industry was unorganized. We did lots of good films with Paise Kabhi Aaye Nahi, turned the profit-making company into a loss-making company. By 2016, we realized that no, it has to stop. We took a hard decision of shutting down Bombay operations overnight. And 2017 onward, we started focusing back on Hollywood, and we haven't looked back ever since. Jitne galtiyan karni thi, kar li. Now we are on an awesome growth track, and we are looking at building a global VFX powerhouse. More to come on what we do now. This was more on our past journey that we'll go through when we go through the presentation. In the meanwhile, I'll quickly brief you on what visual effects is. Visual effects basically is the process of adding, modifying, or adding elements in terms of computer generated graphics to filmed media. When you say film media, that means live action footage that we see in terms of films, episodic, which includes OTT, that is webisodes and television content, commercials, and documentaries. So any modification to that film footage to enhance it, make it look better, is what we call visual effects. Visual effects is in two kinds, really. One is what we call in your eye visual effects, which is basically when you see a blast, if you see a rocket taking off, you see Superman flying, you know that's not possible. So that is what we see, that is the visual effects that we see. But that's not the only visual effects. The major component of visual effects is invisible effects, which we specialize in as a company. When a lot of filming is not possible at certain locations, the filming is done in something that we call a green screen studio. We create locations. So you can be, let's say, wanting to show London, but you film it in Bombay in a green screen studio and you create London digitally. Uh, Normal person would think that it's filmed in London. You'll see a lot of this, what I described in terms of invisible effects and and visible and in your eye effects in our showreel, the work that we've done, which we are very proud of over the years. Requesting Pooja to please play the showreel so that the audience out here can see some kind of work that we've done over the years.
Yes.
Pooja, there's no audio in it. Thank you, Pooja. Can we pull up the presentation? Then we can run through the presentation.
Yes, sir.
So Digico Studios, we provide visual effects for film, streaming, television, and commercials. We can move on. As I mentioned, incorporated in 2000, we specialize in delivering visual effects for films, web series, TV series, commercials, and documentaries. We have one facility in Pune where we house 350 plus production talent. And when you add the support talent, which is very key to any business, our admin, finance, HR, compliance team, we are almost 400 plus at our facility in Pune. We are proud to be approved by production houses and large production, so behemoths like Disney, Marvel, Apple, Paramount, Sony, Lionsgate. We are among the very few studios who have been approved by these studios in India. If there were around 50 or 60 VFX studios in India catering to the Hollywood industry, there are probably just 4 or 5 who are approved, audited and approved by all of these people, and we are one of them, which creates a sort of a moat for us and an entry barrier for others. because that gives us a huge advantage to be able to work on these the projects of these majors. We've had the privilege and honor of working on some really big Hollywood films and TV shows, which include Thor, Love and Thunder, Glass Onion, Knives Out, Jumanji, Stranger Things, Deadpool, Titanic, obviously Transformers, and several more projects over the last 13 years that we've spent in visual effects. Majority, at almost all of our revenue comes today from outside India. We'll speak about the regions later on, but in general, most of our revenue is forex revenue, which comes from different parts of the world. So the global VFX market size and outlook. So let's start off with the first thing, that is the entertainment industry by itself. Then we can move on to VFX. So because VFX is a part of the entertainment industry and we rely on the entertainment industry for our business. The entertainment industry, like I mentioned earlier, is now become a necessity. It's no longer a luxury. It's only growing. The consumers for entertainment are growing every day. Good days, bad days, happy days, sad days. People are consuming entertainment in whichever form, whatever mindset they have. I'm happy, I'm going to watch a movie. I'm sad, I'm going to watch a movie. So it's really, not dependent on the markets. It's very rare that we're going to see a fall in this. The projections for the entertainment industry by itself are tremendous for the years to come. As more and more consumers and as there is more and more disposable income in front of people, they're spending it more and more on entertainment, because of which we're seeing projects getting bigger, bolder, and better. Just if you look at just the OTT market by itself, which is Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Hulu, Peacock, just these behemoths, the large giants of the entertainment industry today, produce over $50 billion worth of content every year. This $50 billion worth of content was non-existent 6 to 7 years ago. This has all been added, and these numbers have come to a $50 billion per year spent today, which is only going to increase. Which has also forced television to up their game. So even now, television is producing bigger and better content. So obviously, that's adding to that number. So between television, film, and OTT, the numbers are mind-boggling. They run into over $150 billion worth of content that's produced globally, worldwide, and this is obviously driving the visual effects business and other businesses which are involved in production, in the production pipeline. India has an amazing story. Even the last 5 to 7 years, there's been quite a bit of transition in the kind of content that is produced in India. Literally till 5, 7, 10 years back, all we could see was Saas Bahu serials. Now we are seeing quality content, story-driven ideas. We are seeing OTT shows and television shows which are high on visual effects. We are seeing South Indian movies which are with mega budgets. We are seeing Bollywood catching up. We just saw Brahmastra, which had a lot of visual effects, and more production houses are now upping their game, even in India, and producing content which is big. And big means more visual effects, because most of the content gets big by and large, mainly by putting the visual effects element in there. So India is also a fabulous growth story for us in the years to come. Like I mentioned earlier, we are one of the few studios in India who are approved, audited and approved by Disney, Marvel, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Warner Brothers, Lionsgate, and Paramount. Approval can take years for many studios, so this becomes like an entry barrier for others in the industry. So it is like a moat for us, and it helps us as a company grow much faster in this industry. We are also audited by TPN. TPN audit is extremely important for the companies which are unlike Disney and Marvel and Netflix, who have their own audits. Other companies rely on TPN certification, so we are TPN audited. We have already spoken about the size of the team, but I must also let you know that we have a structured team in place, which includes VFX supervisors, producers, production managers, production coordinators. So the entire team of 400 plus people is managed by this structured team that we have. This slide is very important, and I would like to spend some more time on this. Many presentations, the core team is just shown, and it just vanishes off. But a company is built by its people. A company is never built by itself, and it is the core team and our entire talent of 400 people that we have today is solely responsible for the success and future growth of Digico Studios. Like we say in a horse race, it is not just the horse, but the jockey who is as important. In a company, it is also the founder who is as important as the company. I myself have spent over 23 years in the entertainment industry, made several connections all over the world, from every large studio to mid studios. Personally visited, met, made lots of friends over the last 23 years, and that is one of the reasons why Digicore is today getting a lot of its business. Many C-level executives, visual effects producers, VFX supervisors at companies like Disney, Netflix, Apple, Paramount, Sony. They know me personally and the company, and they trust us because we worked with them on several projects. The two pillars of our company are Ravi and Mohit, who head the production. They ensure that all our clients are happy. And we have a motto at Digicore, which is delivery on time, every time. And we stand by that. Today, our clients respect us for the on time deliveries that we have. And I'm happy to let you know that we almost have a 95% first pass rate. That means when we deliver content to our clients, almost 95% of the shots are typically approved in the first pass. Chetan is managing our CG team and our virtual production foray, extremely important. So you could say in the production side, we are today known for our dependability and reliability as a production company. Global footprint, we have clients from all over the world. While even within this mix, majority of our revenue does come from North America, because it goes without saying North America is the largest producer of content. So they would definitely be the largest, users of visual effects as a service. But we ensure to, de-risk. We wanted to spread out so that when there are certain issues like there is today, the writer strike in the US, it doesn't bring our business to a complete halt. It helps us balance it out by ensuring that we have work flowing in from other countries. Movies, TV shows are made and commercials are made all over the world. So we do have clients. A majority of our clients outside the US are in Europe, but we have clients from several countries in Asia and Australia as well. Some of the movies that we worked on, it's always a proud feeling to see your name when you see these movies. There's so many memories of having worked on these movies. When you work on movies like Wakanda Forever and Jumanji and Titanic and Deadpool, when you work on TV shows like Stranger Things and The Last Ship, it's not every day that many companies get to work on such big and legendary movies and TV shows. So we are among the lucky studios who had the opportunity to work on these big names. Of the few of our clients, Disney, Netflix, Marvel, Paramount, Prime, Amazon, Lionsgate, Warner Brothers, and Apple. I'd now like to hand over the baton to Mr. Pramod Jain to take you through the financials, because he'll be in a better position to explain this. And over to you, Pramod. Pramod, you're on mute.
Thank you, Abhishek, and good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed my great pleasure to share with you finances of Digikore Studios Limited. Uh, in the year 21, our 86% revenue came from North America and very little from Europe and from the rest of the world. As a strategy, we decided to de risk and spread our customer base all over the globe. And you can see as a result of that, in the year 23, our revenue from the North America came 69%, and from Europe we got 15% and 16% from rest of the world. Similarly, in the year 21, 90% of our revenues came from our top 10 customer. And again, as a strategy, we decided to spread our revenue as wide as we can as a result of that, you can see that in the year 23, uh, our top 10 clients contributed 62% of the revenue, and same is the case with the top five clients from in the year 21, where 76% of our revenue came from the top five clients, and in 23 you can see that 20 or 45% of our revenue are coming from our top five clients. And this, friends, we have done as a deliberate strategy to de-risk and to spread out our revenues as wide as possible globally. In terms of uh, client metrics, friends, for any organization, what is very, very important is to receive the repeat order. And I'm very happy to share with you that in terms of repeat order, we really have got a very distinct advantage. The age of client in terms of years, so from the clients who were with us for 3 years, we got a number of repeat clients over 20, and the age of 2 years, our number of repeat client is 34. And again, you can see the repeat client that we got in FY22 was 24, and this number of repeat clients has increased to 34 in FY23. So this repeat of the client that we are getting is an indication of the reputation, the credit worthiness, and the goodwill that we are enjoying with all our clients. You can please go to the next slide. Now, talking about the revenue, uh, if you look at our total revenue for the FY21, you will see 61.55 million. In FY22, it has increased to 48.84 million. And in FY23, it has increased to 355.58 million. A question may come to your mind as to why FY21 it was 61.55, and that is what I'm sure all of you would recollect was the COVID time, and it was during the COVID time that there was a depression in our revenue, but immediately after that, you can see there has been a very good rise in our revenues, and this for the Q1 of the current financial year, our revenue stood at 118.30 million. In terms of EBITDA, if I would like to share with you, you can see our EBITDA for the FY23 is 74.81 for the whole year. And for the first quarter of the current financial year, our EBITDA has been 44.05 million. Then I will like to also share with you in terms of the PAT, and you can see our PAT for the entire year of FY23 was 43.75, and for the first quarter of the current financial year, our PAT has been 27.97 million rupees. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of EBITDA margin, and I'm sure, friends, all of us are aware that for any organization, what is very critical is the EBITDA and EBITDA margin, because EBITDA is the lifeline of any business. It is the cash operating profit that an organization generates, because ultimately the more cash an organization generates, the stronger it is going to be going forward. In the year 20 FY23, our EBITDA margin was 21%, and in the first quarter of the current financial year, our EBITDA margin has increased to 37%. Likewise, you can see for the PAT margin for the FY23, our PAT was 12%, and for the for the first quarter of the current financial year, our PAT has been 24%, and that is the kind of growth that the company has achieved in the current financial year as far as the EBITDA margin and the PAT margins are concerned. When it comes to ROCE, you can see for FY23, our return on capital employed was 92%, And for the first quarter, and remember, it is just only for the first quarter that our return on capital employed is 35%. This is only first quarter, and I'm sure you can imagine for the year as a whole, this number is going to be much larger when we take the whole year's numbers into account. Same is the case with the return on equity. So we have given a return on equity of 74% in the FY23. And for the first quarter of the current financial year, our return on equity has been 32%. And remember, once again, this is only for one quarter. And when the whole year is taken into account, this return on equity is going to be far more than what we have done. Next slide, please. Uh, Now, in terms of peer comparison, I would like to highlight some of the numbers with you in terms of peer comparison. And you can see here that our return on equity, our return on capital employed for the FY23 is 92.23%. And the same number, return on capital employed for Phantom was 19.99%. And for the Prime Focus, it was minus 7.96%. Next slide, please. Here are the numbers of the company for last 3 years and also for the first quarter of the current financial year in terms of the income statement and income in terms of the balance sheet. These numbers are available in any case on the RHP. You may like to go through them. And in case if you have any question on them, we would, of course, will be very happy to take those questions. Next slide, please. Next one. Right. So this is all as far as the finances are concerned. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll start with question and answer session. So first question is from Mr. Nikhil. How does one differentiates between VFX studio, like say Phantom, Basilic, MPC, Prime Focus? Phantom.
I'll take that question.
Yes, sir.
Honestly, there is no major difference. It is like any IT company, the difference between a TCS and an Infosys. Any industry has multiple players. The advantage of this industry is that we all believe that we don't compete with each other. We actually complement each other. We do work with each other. There are several times when we get certain work which is an overflow. We are not able to handle it. We reach out to peers in our industry like Phantom, like Basilic, like Red Chilies, and they take on the work. Sometimes we help them take on some work of theirs. So while we all are doing the same thing, the same services that we offer, that is providing visual effects services for films. Unlike most industries, I'm very happy and proud to say that we actually work together in helping this industry grow and helping Indian VFX companies create a global mark.
Next question is from Mr. Parash Rai. What percentage of revenue is coming from subcontracting work and direct work? Also share the geographic revenue bifurcation.
So as on today, we are experiencing, so let's say pre-COVID, we were almost at a 90% subcontract and 10% direct work. Today, we have reached a level where we are approximately between 25 and 30% direct work, and the remaining is subcontract, which has also helped us increase our margins. As we move forward, we are working very hard because of the approvals that we have from all these studios, and with the funds that we plan to raise from the fundraise by setting up manpower in certain regions around the world to change this ratio over the years to come. And we want the ratio of we are working hard to change the ratio of direct work to be far greater than subcontract work. As on today, approximately 65% of our revenue comes from North America, as we could also see in the slides earlier, and the remaining is from outside North America. We don't have any, our revenue from India is really negligible.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Nikhil. Why all VFX companies listing suddenly? What is triggering their growth?
I
Tall,
think that's a
Jay.
brilliant question. I think that's a brilliant question. And I always love this question. Uh, so let's look at it this way. Well, like I mentioned some time ago, till 5 to 6 years back, 7 years back, OTT was not even there in the picture. Whatever content was being produced primarily by television, film, and commercials, obviously documentaries. 5, 6 years ago, we could see the advent of OTT coming. Maybe 7 years ago, we could see OTT gaining ground. And as they were adding more and more subscribers, their spend on content started growing. Let me give you an example of Netflix. Netflix today has approximately 200 million subscribers, and they generate around a little over $2 billion a month in revenue. They are spending, just Netflix alone is spending today approximately $15 billion a year in content production. What has happened after COVID? When basically COVID is the thing that is triggering the growth in Indian visual effects companies as well. COVID helped OTT companies, start spending much more on content because during COVID, OTT companies grew substantially in terms of user base. And immediately after COVID, they needed to produce more and more content. Indian VFX companies jumped on that opportunity. Companies like Digikore, companies like Phantom, companies like basically Bot, and there are many others. We all jumped on that opportunity, and and that obviously led to substantial growth in our numbers over the years. Why we want to raise funds? It is very simple. Today we are sitting on an opportunity where we are audited and approved by several of these companies. We now believe that it's the most logical journey for us to climb up this next step in the ladder and start bidding projects directly and the larger projects directly with companies like Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Sony, Paramount, the ones that we are approved by already. But to do that, we need to have a presence in North America, set up teams out there, for which working capital is obviously required. And that is the reason why we are getting this fundraise. Industry tailwinds are helping us by itself. The entertainment industry is growing, the pie is growing, and we do foresee this for several years for positive tailwinds to help companies like us, in our growth path.
Next question is from Mr. Nakul Shada. Any comments strike around Hollywood studios?
Sure, that's a temporary situation. Yeah, I like to call it COVID 2.0. COVID was a reason, we've all been through COVID. Life's experiences teach us how to handle situations better. COVID was a situation which we did not know how to handle. After COVID, we saw substantial growth numbers, which actually ballooned our sales, and not only our sales, sales of every company. We foresee this situation to help us, in fact, not be a problem for us. It may dent our, numbers maybe slightly, but we don't completely rely on Hollywood right now. But when you look at the year-end numbers by itself, like COVID, it's actually going to balloon it up. So we might actually be able to beat our revenue forecasts because of the Hollywood strike. The Hollywood strike is also, in fact, going to be a positive sign for us because I would say, perfect timing for us to go IPO, to raise funds, and set up teams in North America just when the strike is going to open up. There are very good signs I've been hearing. I spoke to one of my colleagues in Hollywood last evening, where there were great meetings happening between both the parties and good signs that this should come to an end by end of September. So the last 6 months are going to be tufan. It's going to be a tsunami of work for every visual effects studio. So it's a temporary stoppage. We've seen that in COVID as well. Not going to affect our yearly numbers for sure.
Next question is from Mr. Arun Kejriwal. What kind of revenue does a single engagement get you?
So we have two kinds of engagements, like we've spoken about earlier also. One is the subcontract work that we get from the larger visual effects studios in the US, Australia, Europe, and different parts of the world. And second is the direct projects that we get from Netflix. And right now, as an example, we're working on a very, amazing Apple series. We're working on several Netflix projects. The subcontract work basically is month to month. Every month, or every week, literally, we're getting some new projects from our clients. They could be small, they could be as low as a $5,000 project, depending on the amount of work that we do, or they could go up to even 30, 40, or $50,000. But those are from our subcontract work. So the one client could give us several projects, and that one client's billing in that month may be $100,000, $150,000. On the other hand, we get direct projects. Direct projects, as on today, are ranging from approximately $150,000 to around $300,000 when we are working directly with companies like Apple, Netflix, Amazon on their shows.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Ananya, Miss Ananya Swaminathan. Hello, sir. I wanted to know what is the employee headcount in FY22 versus FY23, and how many of total staff in is artist and marketing?
So how many and marketing? So in the marketing team, so I would say majority of our staff is artists and the so 350 odd artists we have. Remaining around 50 odd people we have in the backend support in admin, finance, HR, and all the support functions. In the marketing team, so we have two people who are based in Los Angeles, who are the face of the company out there. Majority of our business today comes from repeat clients. Majority of our business comes from referrals, who and people or for people who worked in the past with us. A lot of our business comes from my personal connects in the company, which I have built over the last 23 years. I could get a call from Paul in the evening that, hey, Abby, we have a new show coming up. We have capacity. So we've gone to friendly levels with most of our clients. So that's how we get our business. Artist count between FY22 and 23. I need to just see the document again if anybody has that open. I don't want to give any wrong
Yeah,
numbers
I
out here.
can. Head count is 192 in 22, and in 23 it is a 380 plus. We have the head count.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Arun Kejriwal. Technical strength, number of people on roles.
Most of our people are on roles. Only new joinees, they are typically on probation or contract for the first 6 months, and then they move on to roles. So out of our total strength of 380 people, as on today, there would be probably 70 or 80 who are when you say on contract, that is also because they're mainly on probation, and otherwise everybody else is on roles really.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Bimal Gandhi. What is the significance of being a TPN audited VFX studios, and how does it impact the company's ability to secure projects from major production houses like Disney, Marvel, Netflix, etc.?
So the TPN certificate, let me first get to that, the TPN audit. That is an audit, that is a security audit that is conducted by TPN, that is Trusted Partner Network, which basically audits and verifies our security protocols, which is a very important aspect of this industry because one small leakage and the whole film or TV show can get ruined. Most companies like the majors do not rely, they do rely on TPN to an extent, the audit by TPN, but they also conduct their own. So Disney conducts their own audit, Apple conducts their own audit, Lionsgate conducts their own audit. So any majors that do not conduct their own security audit rely on the audit conducted by TPN, and then they believe that this company is now suitable to work on our projects. So if you are not any studio that is not TPN audited or not audited independently by Disney, Netflix, Amazon, Sony, Paramount, it's a very difficult chance that you would get to work on their projects. So these are very critical certifications to be able to work on projects of these major studios.
Next question is from Mr. Bumper. What are key risks you see in your business?
So every business has risks. Risks is a part and parcel of any business. In risks, I would classify it basically into internal risks and external risks. We always face external risks, like let's say a COVID situation, which is unplanned, unheard of, a writer's strike for that matter. But these are risks that we've seen in the past, which have come and gone. Obviously, one of the risks that we see, internal risks that we see, is maybe data theft or data leakage. But we have measures in place because we've passed these audits. Obviously, otherwise we would have never passed these audits to ensure that there is no data theft or data leakage from our facility. And obviously, all our artists and production team and talent is also constantly reminded, and there are sessions on the importance of the data and maintenance out here. And we also have a cyber insurance cover as a backup plan for that. So one of the biggest risks that we face is data theft, if any.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Bimal Gandhi. With the evident success of VFX companies like Phantom Digital Effects and Basilic Fly Studio in the market, how do you plan to leverage its IPO to similarity benefit its investors?
See, I truly believe that the market is driven by a company's performance. If there are people, I don't know how else would a market, deliver results to its investors. Our only promise in Digicor is that we will do our best to ensure we put in our best efforts to take the company to the goals and plans that we have. The markets will react accordingly. We cannot move the markets at our will and fancy. I wish we could, but we can't. The only thing that we can do is ensure that we deliver outstanding performance, and the market will respond accordingly. And as the market responds, our investors will benefit accordingly. I cannot comment on Phantom or Basilicfly. I'm very happy for them, the way they are performing, and I just hope that we are able to match up or better their returns to investors.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Prateshwara. You mentioned Jumanji film projects. What percent of total spend on VFX and special effects was outsourced to Digicore, and what was Digicore revenue, and what was total revenue of others in the same movie?
See, when you have projects like Jumanji or Deadpool or Thor or Black Panther, these are very heavy visual effects movies. You could have thousands and thousands and thousands of people all over the world working on projects like this. In a project like a Jumanji or a Thor or a Deadpool or a Black Panther, there would be over 50 visual effects studios all over the world, not only India, but even several in the US, several in Europe, several in Asia, working on a project like this. So it's literally impossible for one, two, or three studios to complete an entire movie in the timeline that they want. Yes, one or two studios could, but it would take them years and years to do that. So that is why the job is distributed to several companies. Offhand, I don't remember what is the how much of revenue amount we got out of the film Jumanji, because it was quite a while ago. But it was substantial. We did quite a few of the critical shots in that film. That much I know. Some critical sequences towards the end of the film were delivered by us, and they did feature in the movie, and we were very happy to see it there.
Okay, next question is from Mr. Albert. What are the current trends and challenges in the VFX industry, and how is Digicore positioned to navigate them?
So one of the current trends, and in fact, that's one thing that I'm very proud of, is that Digicor has always been at the forefront of innovation. So there are two kinds of innovation that is happening in the VFX industry, and one of them is AI, which is not only about the VFX industry. AI is happening everywhere. AI is getting into every industry. Many people look at AI as a threat. I like to look at it as an opportunity. We have been able to embrace AI, over a year and a half ago. We have used AI in our projects. We have used AI to our strength. We have been able to deliver better projects using lesser manpower using AI, and we will continue to do so. So AI, I would actually, we at Digicor actually look at AI as a strength, which is going to help us deliver, better content and faster and in a more productive manner. The second disruption that is taking place, not really in the VFX industry, but in the filming industry, is that of virtual production. And Digicore is, I would say, probably the forerunner in India when it comes to virtual production. We started working on virtual production technologies almost 2 years ago. Virtual production is a new method of filming where studios are now replacing green screen and blue screen with LED stages, LED volumes that we call. So instead of actor performing in front of a green screen, they perform in front of a LED wall, which has the background embedded in that already. These backgrounds are made using certain specialized software, and Digicore is at the forefront of virtual production in India. And we foresee virtual production to contribute in the years to come a substantial amount in our revenue. And we're glad that we are in the front of the line in virtual production.
Okay. Next question is from Miss Ananya. What is the iteration rate of your organization?
Digicore is a 23-year-old company, one of the oldest visual effects studios in Pune. People trust us, they rely on us, they know we're not going anywhere. We have a great environment out here. We have amazing employee engagement activities, and because of which we enjoy a lower than average industry attrition rate. So our attrition rate is in the 5% to 6% range, which is really, really good. And we are constantly working on, ensuring that we maintain a happy workplace. Employees are paid well, and it's very important that people also see the stability of a company, because everybody wants a stable career. So we are able to provide that, and that's one of the reasons why we enjoy a low attrition rate, which is around 5 to 6% at Digicore.
Okay. Our next question is from Mr. Bimal Gandhi. 99% of revenue comes from Hollywood films and episodic content. How do you plan to diversify its client base or mitigate potential risk associated with relying heavy on a few major clients?
So 99% of our revenue does not come from Hollywood films and TV series. 99% of our revenue comes from outside India. Around, like we discussed earlier also, around 65% of our revenue today comes from Hollywood. 35% of our revenue comes from producers and production houses in Europe and other countries in Asia. Uh, how much ever we may do, at the end of the day, Hollywood is the largest producer of content in the world. The amount of content that's produced in Hollywood alone, when you say Hollywood, I'd say, let's say North America. North America alone is probably equal to or more than the rest of the world. So any company would obviously want to get inroads into the largest markets where their clients are there. We've been blessed with to have clients like Disney, Netflix, Amazon, Paramount. So when you say Netflix, it's not necessarily Netflix US. We recently worked on a Netflix Korea project. So while it was Netflix, but it was from Netflix Korea. So we are de-risking by working not only with Netflix in the US, but also Netflix in Korea. We work with Netflix in the UK, and different parts of the world. And apart from these majors, we also work from with other smaller indie film producers. We work on commercials, we work on documentaries from other countries. But at the end of the day, like I said again, if US is the largest producer of content, they are also going to be the largest consumers of visual effects. And how much ever we may try, they will always be our largest region.
Okay. Next question is from Ms. Neha Sharma. What specific growth opportunities does your company see in the global VFX industry, and how does the company plan to capitalize on them?
Today, we are a well established, well recognized, and trusted visual effects studio by most of the large producers in the US. We've discussed their names earlier already: Disney, Netflix, Amazon, Paramount. But what happens typically today is that since we are an India only based studio, even the direct projects that we get, like I mentioned earlier, they are typically 150 to $300,000. I would say an average ticket size of maybe between 150 to $200,000 today. The opportunity that we have in front of us, and which we are capitalizing on through the IPO, is by setting up and adding manpower in North America, the key creative talent in terms of visual effects producers, visual effects supervisors, key production talent out there, which will then help us, bid for. When you say bid for, it means reach, be a part of the larger, or I would say mid-level to large level VFX projects in terms of streaming and television, which is going to be our primary market. And that will help us also up our average revenue per project from 150,000 to 200,000. We are planned to, that will give us the opportunity to take that up to anywhere between 600,000 to $900,000. The projects that we would never, be offered to bid because we're an India only based studio. We already have formed a subsidiary of Digico Studios, a wholly owned subsidiary of Digico Studios. The company is called Digikore Visual Effects Inc. It is based in Canada. It is a wholly owned subsidiary of Digikore Studios, and we plan to front end from that company with this key creative talent to be able to up our revenue numbers and average, revenue per project in the years to come.
Okay. We'll move to next question. Next question is from Miss Anita. Digico's revenue appears to be heavily weighted towards North America. Can you elaborate on your strategy for diversifying revenue sources in other regions?
So I've already answered this question actually. Just the question before this was literally that, where we did talk about, we do have clients. 65% today comes from North America. Obviously, the reason being that they are the largest producers of content in the world. We are working towards, even if you saw the presentation, till 2 years ago, almost 90% of our revenue came from North America. Today, we are at 65%. We are working every day, every week, every month to reach out to other clients in other parts of the world as well, and balance out our revenue structure, or the revenue spread between regions.
Okay, we move on to next question, Mr. Pritesh Vora. What is reason of sudden spurt in industry order? How cyclic this demand is?
I don't think this is cyclic. I think it's here to stay. As more and more people are getting on the entertainment bandwagon in terms of either new OTT players or new subscribers, this demand is only going to grow. The industry is estimated to grow strong and steady, is showing strong and steady growth. All the projections for the next 5 to 7 years are very healthy. And so we see the industry only on a growth path. I don't see this to be a cyclical demand for sure.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Nehtik. What about your order book for FY24 and guidance going forward?
We have a very good client base and order book for 24 as of now, and we are well on target to not only achieve but probably overachieve our revenue target of 24 that we've set forward for us.
Okay. Mr. Robert, what could you provide specific examples of VFX work done in details in project like Titanic, Stranger Things, The Expendable 3, Heather, Black Adam, and Black Panther that showcase Digico's expertise?
You must have seen a lot of that in the showreel right now. So let me give you an example. Titanic. We didn't work on Titanic. The first Titanic was 97. Digicor was informed as a company also that time. We worked on Titanic 3D, which came out in 2013, I think so, or 12, which involved basically stereo conversion. That means making the 2D Titanic into the 3D, the one that you saw in the theater with glasses. So we worked on hundreds and hundreds of shots of that project to convert Titanic into stereo, that is the 3D. Stranger Things, we worked literally on an entire season. I think it was the third or fourth season, where we delivered several shots. It's like gun shots, and lots of work was done on that. So it's very difficult to say what exactly we did. There were different things. They were replacing backgrounds. There were gun shots. There were car accidents. There were background replacements. There were sky replacements. There were so many things done on that. Driving comms that we call. So a lot of work was done on Stranger Things, if I remember. Heather, you saw it in our showreel as well. Heather, the whole movie was done by us. Uh, many of you may think that यार हैदर में visual effects कहाँ था? पूरा movie literally visual effects था. A lot of the filming that was could not be done in Kashmir. It was all filmed in Bombay. You did see that in our showreel as well, if you were there in the starting of the presentation, where there was a shot of Shahid Kapoor against a green screen, and we created the whole of Lal Chowk around there because there was no way we could film in Lal Chowk. So Heather, a lot of the shots which actually required, let's say, simple terms in language, background replacement, where we actually created the location virtually, which was shot in a green screen. So a lot of Heather's work was done on that. Black Panther, again, we did a lot of cleanups, we did a lot of compositing of backgrounds, we did a lot of camera tracking match move, which is very technical part that is comes before the CG part in the project. So a lot of shots on Black Panther was done for all of that. To be very honest, Expendables is pretty old. I don't remember exactly. I remember one shot in Expendables where we did beauty cleanup because that shot was there in our earlier showreel as well. So yeah, so our work can really vary from what we call compositing, which is one of the key aspects in visual effects, where you're adding backgrounds, replacing backgrounds. Adding, let's say, when you have a gun, you're adding the gunfire to it. You're adding maybe 2D fire into shots. Driving comps. That means people are actually sitting in a car in a studio, but the people there's a it feels as if they're on the road outside. Monitor comms, screen replacements. You saw one shot from there was a day to night shot from the last ship. So it was filmed during the day, but we converted that whole shot to night. So there's a very work that we do across our projects.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Bilmal Gandhi. What strategies do you have in place to continue delivering high quality VFX services while managing cost efficiency?
So cost efficiency, it's a daily process at any company. Every company has to work on a daily basis to see how we can improve our productivity and reduce our costs. It is a very high area of importance at Digicore. So at one end, how to increase revenue, and at the other end, how to decrease costs. So the net effect is how do we increase our PAT. So it's a daily process. So there is you. I wouldn't say that okay, from today we have a strategy. The strategy at Digicore has always been there. Efforts in this direction are always there, and we continue to have make those efforts on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, reviewing where we stand, discussing within the team, looking at new technologies that have come up which can help us, reduce costs and make a process faster. So when you make a process faster, you're reducing number of man hours required for that process, so the costs reduce on that. So this is a daily activity that happens literally at Digicom.
Next question from Mr. Netik. What is the strategy of expanding physical presence?
So the first strategy that we have to expand physical presence is what we discussed. See, physical presence need not be, a office and a building and brick and mortar. Today, the entire industry works virtually. So while we have plans to employ and get in people in our North American operations in LA and Montreal, if need be and the time comes, we may look at a office space on rent there. But today, the whole industry, especially in North America, works virtually. We are able to even house all our servers and storage and everything virtually. So we always operate on an asset light model. When we feel the need that we need a physical workspace, we will go for that. But as on today, our primary location is Pune. Pune is the hub for international visual effects. It has the largest talent pool in all over India for people who are able to deliver projects for international visual effects. Luckily, we are the premier and most known studio in Pune. So for us, we don't. It would be stupid for us to go outside Pune when the biggest talent pool is here. So if we ever feel the need in the future that yes, we need to expand another location within India, we will do that. But today, we definitely don't have a need. We have plans to reach up to a certain amount of manpower over the next 2 to 3 years time, 4 years time, and we comfortably see that we can achieve that need of ours by being based in Pune itself. at least for our India operations. We also believe that having one facility gives us more control. It reduces our costs. With every facility we add, it adds cost, a fixed cost that added to the company. So like I said, we always work on seeing how we can reduce costs. So if we need to in the future, we will do it. But today we don't see a need for it.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Robert. Is it is it flexible to take direct orders from Hollywood studios, as most of the Indian VFX cores are working on the subcontracting model?
Oh, in fact, most companies dream to do that. Nobody wants to be a subcontractor. Everybody wants to get direct projects. A, because you get much larger projects. B, because it definitely helps in increasing your bottom line, which you have also seen over the last 3 years of Digico's bottom line. As we have increased our share of direct projects from subcontracting, that has also positively impacted our bottom line. So any company in its natural progress or growth progress would definitely want to upgrade or climb up the ladder and get more direct projects. And luckily, we are in a position today where it has become pretty easy for us to now get direct projects and grow our direct project business. So it goes without saying that given a choice, any company would go for direct projects compared to outsourcing.
Okay. Mr. Netik, what is your strategy for expanding physical presence in Europe or North America?
We don't have an immediate plan for Europe. The funds that we are planning to raise from here is going to be invested in manpower in North America first. Once we are able to set up, establish, and grow Digicore Visual Effects Inc. and make it a company that is generating revenue and profits based on the targets that we have, we may look at Europe, but we don't have Europe immediately on our radar in terms of a physical presence there. Obviously, we are going to get clients from Europe, but we don't have plans for immediate plans for a physical presence in Europe right now.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Abhishek Yadav. The revenue and EBITDA growth from 2020 to 21 to 2022 to 23 is quite impressive. Can you provide insights into the key factors driving this rapid growth in the past few years?
So there are two factors that have. Pramod, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I think I'll just okay. See, the two factors that have contributed towards the revenue and EBITDA growth from 21-20 to 2021 to 22-23. Uh, Number one is the direct orders that that Abhishek mentioned. That is one factor, because direct order that we get have got larger margin. And number two, uh, we being light, following the light asset model, our fixed costs are relatively low. And since our fixed costs are relatively low, we get the benefit of the increase in the volume. And those are the two major factors that have contributed towards the revenue and the EBITDA growth over past 2 years.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Pritesh Mbura. If you bid directly, will you not compete with your existing clients?
I'm going to answer that. I'm frozen. Is there some issue? Can you see
No,
me,
sir,
hear
we
me?
can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. So most of our existing clients today in the subcontracting are the really large VFX studios. They're the ones who are working on the big budget films, the really high-end TV series, episodic. When we are planning to enter North America, we are not planning to enter in that market. Our market is more the small, mid-end TV shows and OTT. There may be some of our smaller clients that we may actually compete with. What you're saying is right, but a majority of our larger outsourced clients, we may not really be directly competing with them because they are addressing those projects which have VFX budgets of 50 million, 40 million, 100 million maybe. Our projects that we are targeting when we enter the North American market is more in the million to 2 million VFX budget projects. I think we are facing a technical glitch. People are coming and going. I'll take this question anyway. The question is, company has ambitious revenue and EBITDA projections for the coming years. What are the primary strategies and initiatives that the company plans to implement to achieve these targets? Our primary strategy is expanding into North America. By expanding into North America, like I said, it gives us the opportunity to work on larger projects compared to what we work on now. It helps us increase our per project revenue. And what's going to happen is that most of the front ending as we go ahead is going to be done from Digikore Visual Effects Inc. Since that is a wholly owned subsidiary of Digikore Studios Limited, the numbers of that obviously reflect in our balance sheet, and that is going to help Digikore Studios Limited obviously become a stronger company as well. So while when I say most of the front ending is going to be done from there, they are going to be the ones billing clients the revenues in dollars. Uh, See, let's put into perspective. Today we say we did 35, 36 crores revenue last year. We have a revenue target of maybe 50 crores for this year. But when I'm looking at a US based company, let's say Digicore Visual Effects Inc. over the next 3 years, we have certain revenue targets out there. But when you transfer those dollar amounts into Indian rupees, that Indian rupee amount suddenly turns out into a very big number, which is then going to help us achieve substantial growth in Digicore Studios in India by itself. As we get more and more projects there, also we have to employ more and more manpower here because most of the delivery heavy lifting is going to be done from India. So while we may have 20, 25, 30 people in North America, our plan is to grow to a 900-person team over the next 3 years in India. So all of this is going to so our strategy in one word is basically on one line is to grow the North American operations and be known as a global visual effects studio.
Next question is from Mr. Nakul. How does working capital cycle differ from Hollywood and Bollywood?
So, Bollywood, we don't do much today, so I can't comment on Bollywood. Actually, when I say we don't do much, do little or nothing of Bollywood. Hollywood, we are experiencing working capital cycles. So once after we raise invoices, our typical payment time cycles are 50 to 60 days. And if you look at the work in progress, the time that the project is there with us before the invoicing period, 90 to 100 days is typically what we carry costs of a project when we're working on Hollywood. Honestly, I cannot comment on Bollywood because we have not worked on any Bollywood project for a few years now.
Okay. We'll move on to next question. Next question is from Mr. Robert. Does this strike from this email actors will improve scope of work for VFX because as it is much cheaper to studios to do this than paying a background actor?
One minute, let me just read the question. Does the strike from the small actors will
From
improve
small
scope of
actors will
work for VFX because it is much cheaper to studios to do than paying a background actor? The actors strike is also going to get over. It's not that the writers strike will continue and the actors will get over and the actors strike will continue. All these strikes are going to get over in the next week, 10 days, 15 days max. So I don't think this question is too relevant for our business.
we'll move on to next question. Ms. Neha, can you provide insights into companies' client acquisition and retention strategies, especially in the competitive VFX market?
Acquisition is like I said, we have a business development team in the US. They are in Los Angeles. They obviously acquire new clients. We have an inside sales team at Digico, which is fabulous, which generates gets a lot of leads every month from new clients for the company, and then the leads are passed on to the outside sales team, that is the team in Los Angeles, to follow up with them and convert them into a client. Retention is any business. Retention is about relations. So there are two ways you can retain a client. We do obviously both. One is by delivering well, making them happy during the project. If a client is satisfied after the project, they're going to come back to you for sure. And at the same time, we maintain very good relations with our clients. Our two business development people in Los Angeles. Me personally, I'm traveling to Los Angeles 2 to 3 times a year. I meet up with a lot of people inside the office and outside the office. My relations with hundreds of people in the industry are on a friendly level now. So at the end of the day, when somebody becomes your friend within business, there's no other better way to get business than that.
Next question is from Mr. Bimal Gandhi. How does it navigate potential challenges related to international projects such as cultural difference and regulatory compliance?
How does it navigate potential challenges with the international business such as
Related,
cultural development? So we've never ever had an issue on this front in the projects that we've got. We've never had regulatory compliance issues or cultural differences. People are professionals; they are able to understand research and let's say when a shot is required. Cultural differences comes when you are not really into it. We've been in it for several years. There are certain shots that sometimes come to us in which we have to portray cultures of different countries. There's enough research being done on that. We've been working on international projects for 13 years. That's become a part of our DNA now to portray and display. Plus, it's a very structured way how visual effects happens. When shots come to us, there's enough description, there's enough guidance, there are enough references also that are provided to us and our team to understand and execute the project. And regulatory, we've never faced a regulatory issue. And honestly, I've never heard of any VFX studio in India facing a regulatory issue on that front.
okay. Next question from Mr. Robert. Also, one counter argument with the success of movies like Oppenheimer, which are using majorly practical effects and bare minimum VFX. So, what is your view on that?
Directors and producers nowadays like to say that they're not using VFX. Every movie uses VFX. Oppenheimer has also used VFX. In fact, there's a lot of debate if you just Google online on use of VFX in Oppenheimer. You would see that most VFX artists are now publicly also, coming out that yeah, we have worked a lot on Oppenheimer, and there is no reason to say that it's practical effects. The directors and producers are, it's become a trend nowadays to say that no, we haven't used visual effects in a movie, but there is substantial use of visual effects. So it's rare that practical effects will take on the role of visual effects in the years to come. Visual effects will only grow in the years to come.
One more question. Also, major Marvel movies are losing its charm. How you see this will impact your business as they are major movies which use VFX in huge numbers.
I think Pooja, his video is.
Yeah, now everyone's back. I think the video went
Yeah.
away for a while.
So we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
If
Uh,
the question is,
Also,
Also,
major
major
Marvel
Marvel
movies are losing its
are
charm.
losing
How
its
you see
charm.
this
How
will
you see this
impact
will
your
impact your
business?
business? Is there major
Yes,
movies using it?
movies which
I
you
don't think
create.
Marvel movies are losing its charm. I really don't think. I think it's just the fan following that Marvel movies have. It's very difficult for it to lose its charm. Secondly, Hollywood studios are smarter than you and me. As they feel that one property is losing its charm, they will come out with another property. When you say property means a franchise like and within the Marvel universe there are several franchises for that matter. And it's not only Marvel. Marvel is just one of them. Apart from Marvel, there are so many franchises which are franchises already there, many more to come. And apart from that, even independent movies, are growing on their visual effects needs. So just a Marvel within the Marvel universe, one of the franchises, if it's losing its charm, they'll find something new very quickly.
Next question is from Mr. Anand Patel. Order book of 15 crores is for how many months? Future visibility on order book.
See, our order book right now is also a lot of luckily, we were very lucky that we got in two or three big projects just when the strike was closing, when the strike was happening. So our projects had just about crossed the production fence. So we were very good out there. And apart from that, right now, because of the strike, a lot of our orders are coming in from the subcontract studios from Europe, which are working on projects out there. So when you say the order book of 15 crores, see, our order book is literally every week, every 2 or 3 days, we keep getting new and new projects. So it's very difficult to say that this order book of 15 crores, it's not just one project, it is multiple projects. So it's difficult to say that this is going to last how long because our order book keeps on. If one project gets over today, within 2 days another project will start. So it's an ongoing process. So it's not going to. I can't say that okay after 1 month or 2 months we have no work. It's a constant process. For years we've been having it where our existing clients, we don't know 3 months down the line what project they're going to send us, but it's a history that we've seen over this past so many years with clients that we know, okay, this client is going to give us so much business in a year, and in then that month, let's say average per month, this client has been giving us over the last 3 4 years so much business. So you can't just say okay, now suddenly your client gayab ho jayega. So that's how our order book is estimated. I obviously cannot tell you what projects it is because a lot of that is also confidential information.
Next question is from Ms. Neha. How does company plan to use the proceeds from the IPO, especially regarding its expansion plans in India and abroad? And what are the expected timelines for these expansions?
So, like I mentioned earlier, our proceeds from the IPO are going to be used to strengthen our manpower in India and primarily in North America. Our plan for North America is that in the next quarter itself, the third quarter, that is the October, November, December period, we will be hiring around 15 people in North America. And over the next 6 months, that is till March, we plan to take this team to 40 people. In India as well, we'll be hiring some key talent. So you could say a lot of our plans will take shape in the next quarters.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Vignesh from Saurabh Gupta. How has the market responded to the company's financial performance as reflected in its share price?
Well, I'm super thrilled to let you know that all our reviews are outstanding. The general feedback we have from the market is very positive, and we are in a great position right now in terms of as far as the IPO is concerned. We are very excited, and the signs are only positive. So it's exciting times for us.
Next question is from Ms. Poonam. How does the company distribute its VFX services to clients? Is there are any partnership? Are there any partnership with distribution platforms or agencies?
So there's no such thing as a signed partnership. We have loose partnerships. So Netflix, we get, literally every month we get some project or the other, or sometimes in a month we get more projects than that. Same with many of our clients, as you've seen that we have over 30 repeat clients. So there's no signed agreement that we are going to get so much business from you in this year. But many of our clients have been with us for several years. They love working with us. We love working with them, and we continue to receive business from them. And not only in terms of the outsourced clients, but in terms of even the studios that we receive repeat business from them.
Okay, next one more question is from Poonam. In an era of increased cybersecurity threats, what measures does the company have in place to protect sensitive clients' data and its proprietary technology?
So I like to say that studios like ours are literally bank level security. We have to maintain that. And when we spoke about the TPN audits and Disney audits, when you said those audits, those are primarily security audits. They go to the extent of also trying to penetrate into our systems externally. And that is one of the things that we have to pass. That they're unable, their IT teams or the people that they have employed at their end, which are probably masters at it. We have firewalls. We have several layers of protection for people to enter our systems. So those are basic necessities and very basic requirements at a top level visual effects studio like ours. Of security, there are over 40 to 50 security checkpoints that we maintain, from simple things like no pen drives or no machines. There are pen drives on production machines, no internet. Our server and storage is extremely secure, firewalls at every level. So those are basic checkpoints. And if we don't have those, we would not be TPN approved, we would not be Disney approved. And the fact that all of these big names have approved us, that means our security is in order.
Next question is from Mr. Vignesh Ahuja. Also, how does company ensure it stays up to data with the latest software and hardware in the VFX industry?
So apart from using publicly and commercially available software, we've also developed a lot of our proprietary tools, and we continue to do that. We have almost 7 to 8 people in our IT team, which is into software development, which too many studios don't have. We've developed this skill over the years. We tend to develop a lot of our own software. Even things like production management and tools like that are completely developed by us. Obviously, the commercially available software, they keep on updating and upgrading, and we obviously upgrade along with that. For the hardware part of it, we are an asset light model. We don't purchase hardware. We believe in renting the hardware because the technology, like you just said, keeps changing. Change in technology requires the use of higher end hardware. So then, when we rent hardware, we have the flexibility of sending certain machines back to the vendor and calling for more higher end machines. So we're easily able to adapt to changing technology in hardware because we're not bound by certain hardware that we've purchased.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. From Miss Simran. How the pricing of a particular project is decided?
So we have certain mandate rates that we have internally arrived at over the years for the tasks that we do. So let's say a certain task, we believe that this is so many dollars per man day is what we should earn. Then we receive the shots and the bidding material from the client. We have to see every shot. We have to arrive at an estimate on the number of man days that it would take to deliver that or to complete that job. We multiply that by our mandate rate that we have internally, and we send the quotation to the client based on that.
Next question is from Mr. Chandyam. Does AL will affect
Yeah,
future
yes,
business
yeah.
of company?
So I've already answered that. In fact, we use AI to our advantage. We don't see AI as a disadvantage. We actually see that as an advantage. We are using AI. We have already used AI on certain projects we've delivered in the past, which have helped us actually to improve our productivity, to deliver a project faster with lesser manpower. And we continue to use AI in to our benefit rather than to our disadvantage.
Next question from Mr. Pritesh Vora. If we consider employee experts as 12 crore, expenses as 12 crores last year, and we consider 380 artists and total people strengths are as 500 numbers, average salary works out to be 2.4 lakhs year or 20 lakhs month. Can you please explain?
No, so A is 380 artists we have today. We didn't have that as a common number during the whole year. If you've seen our presentation earlier also, there's been a substantial ramp up between 21-22 and 22-23 in terms of number of employees. Our average salary is, as on today, is approximately 40,000 rupees per month. So it's a ramp up. So we didn't have 380 employees from day one of 22-23 and the last day of 22-23. So it would be incorrect to just divide the manpower cost by 380 people.
Okay. Our next question is from Mr. Robert. What was the rationale behind choosing Sati as your BRLM looking at their past track record?
I don't think that's a relevant question to answer out here because Sarthi has been one of the premier lead managers. They've been around for 12 to 13 years in the industry, probably more than that. They have delivered over 50 issues. We got some positive feedback from them for issues they've done in the past. And obviously, any company would do their research and choose partners they want to work with. We did a research. We were convinced with what we could see from the research that we had, and that's the reason why we chose Sarthi.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Deep Arora. Can you brief us on your working capital cycle?
Yes, so I've already answered that, but I'll answer that again. So typically, when we raise invoices, average payment cycle is 50 to 60 days. And there is obviously a WIP, that is work in progress cycle when we get a project. So the WIP period can range anywhere between 30 to 40 days before we are able to raise an invoice. So we're carrying costs for anywhere between 90 days to 100 days before the money actually hits our bank for certain projects, for the projects that we are working on.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Robert. Question for BRLM Sati Capital. What is the status of SEBI inquiry on the company 5 crores whose IPO was handled by Sati Capital?
I believe the matter has been closed now. You can see the order on SEBI's website.
Okay, sir.
It has been closed. It can be referred to the SEBI's website. Okay, and we have come out clean from it. Nothing from our end.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Mitesh Kunder. Could you provide examples of recent projects or clients that have utilized Digicore services, particularly the specialized services like rotoscopy, reflections removable, and muzzle flash compositing,
Of
compositing?
recent projects. So we are working on several projects. So right now we have, let's say, like I told you, one of the biggest projects that we have going on is an Apple series that we are working on. Obviously, for security reasons, we cannot let out the names of those shows right now. I cannot even let out names of certain shows that we have on floor. We are very happy to let out names of projects that we have delivered already. But our industry, we have to follow extremely tight confidentiality agreements, and we are not allowed to let people know what projects we have in terms of names which is going on floor. So I cannot name the projects that we are working on right now in which we are providing these services.
Okay. Next question is from Miss Ananya. Congratulations to the entire Digicore team on your IPO journey. With your excellent track records in the VFX industry, there is no doubt this new chapter will be a great success. All the best.
Thank you, Ananya. Yes, we are at a juncture which is a very important juncture in the journey of Digicore. We are geared up and well armed to get on this next growth journey. We are well armed to take the next big leap, and with the faith of our investors, that will just give us more confidence in achieving our dreams and goals.
Next question is from Ms. Shweta. You are the face of the company. In case of unforeseen situations, who else is capable to take over and deliver like yourself do? How is that risk taken in the account?
Every promoter is the face of their company. Every promoter does take steps in creating a second level in the company. And while we have done that to a very large extent in terms of operational side, even the finance, admin, production is completely, you could say professionalized. I am the face of the company, no doubt about it. But I can tell you one thing, that Digicore has been set up in such an amazing way, and thanks to the team. That, and I tell all my friends this as well, that if I just at night I decide I want to go for a 15-day vacation and I just don't inform anybody and I just go away from there, nothing in the company will change. It's been set up that way.
Okay. Mr. Bimal Gandhi, could you share a glimpse of Digicore's long-term vision and how the IPO aligns with that?
The IPO forms a very important part of our long-term vision, because in any company that wants to enjoy or experience hypergrowth, you need some funds for that. Today, if we don't have funds, we will have natural growth. Today, we've been growing, and let's say we were 35 crores. Our target for this year is 50 crores. We will achieve that. 50 ka maybe in the next year we'll do 70 crores, then maybe 90 crores, maybe 100 crores. But with the funds that we are raising, which we are investing into the talent and setting up the key teams, in North America and India, this will help us achieve hypergrowth numbers. With We have obviously revenue targets in with excess of 100% growth year on year for the next 3 years. As on today, as we see it and where we stand, we are very confident of achieving those numbers and delivering exceptional returns and results to our investors as well.
Okay. Uh, Next question is from Mr. Anand Patel. Sustainable OPM. Sustainable OPM.
And
Yep. Uh, am I audible, Pooja?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yes. Our operating profit margin, as you have seen, uh, the kind of fixed contract orders that we are getting, an increase in the volume, uh, there is only going to be an increase in our operating profit margin with the passage of time. So, more high value orders we get, lesser is going to be cost for those orders, and therefore our operating profit margins are going to increase going forward.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Robert. All the best for the IPO team Digicore and Abhishek. Okay.
thank you, Robert. Your questions were really amazing, and I loved interacting on all your queries that you had. And thank you for the wishes. Like I said, we are in it for the long term, and we look forward to your support.
Thank you, sir. We have covered majority of questions. Now we'll conclude. Thanks, Mr. Abhishek ji, Mr. Srinivas ji, Mr. Pramod ji, Miss Henny, and Mr. Tahir for giving insights about the company and IPO to the investors community. And thank you, investors who have participated for the IPO roadshow. Thanks. Thank you once
Thank you,
again.
Pooja. Thank you, Pooja, and thank you everyone who has seen this presentation today. All I can say is that Digicore enjoys a very good brand name overseas, and it is managed by an able team of leaders, right from the top to right at the bottom. And we are all working towards helping and ensuring that Digicore becomes a global name in the visual effects industry. Thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure interacting with all of you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
once again.